A massive guilty pleasure I've always had is for silent horror films, and it's not because I'm trying to be super deep and edgy or anything, although it really does help. There's just this strange creepiness to them that you can't really get anywhere else. And I don't care what anyone says, that makeup is way too good for 1922. I am fully convinced that Count Orlok was an actual real vampire that existed. But I never felt that these movies were well represented in games. Hell, they weren't even represented at all, because let's be serious now, who the fuck cares? I mean, really. But thankfully the lads over at Idle FX had me more than covered in that department with Nosferatu, the Wrath of Malachi. Idle FX made like 4 games around 2003 before literally disappearing forever. And yeah, we can all laugh at FBI hostage rescue and Drake, but we all know I am definitely going to be playing every single one of these after I finish recording this. Already I'm pretty impressed with how they managed to damn this game to obscurity just by calling it Nosferatu. You know, instead of the already popular, established and public domain Dracula. Yeah, no, you're right, that probably wouldn't have sold at all. Good call, guys. The game introduces the story with your character having just finished participating in Olympic fencing, fox hunting, being in a Beatles tribute band, you know, just normal British stuff that you probably wouldn't understand. He's travelling to Transylvania to attend his sister's wedding to a rich Romanian count, and since it's like the 18th century and nobody bothers to meet the person they're going to be married to before driving their entire family up to some creepy castle, the entire family gets kidnapped and your sister is scheduled to be sacrificed to the Dark Lord Malachi. Well, fuck, aren't I just dying to say you deserve every little bit of that. You arrive at the castle with nothing to defend yourself with other than a photo album and your wits. Or in my case, just the photo album. The first thing you'll notice is that this game's look and feel captures Nosferatu's almost perfectly. But hey, I bet it's nice to see an example of a game trying to be cinematic without being 30 FPS and invisible, am I right? Or I'm sure it would be if this fucking annoying filter wasn't on the screen the whole time. I'm pretty sure any normal, sane human being would complain about it, but I actually kind of like it. Like I said, there's a strange creepiness with silent movies from that era, and if I'm honest, it may be a little touch, but it does a great job of emulating it, and it helps to make the atmosphere spooky as fuck, which is a reason to buy this game alone. Until you realise little things like the lights in the tower are triggered by your field of view. Yeah, not massively impressed with that, I'm gonna be honest. You turn to the right and are given a fucking heart attack by the sound of a priest falling out of a window. He serves to tell you your objectives in the game, which is to rescue every single family member in the photo album, but more importantly the doctor so he can help save the priest's life. Although I used my medical experience to diagnose his condition as terminal and pushed him into a pit. One down, a fuck ton to go. At its base, the game is a textbook definition of survival horror, so defense is extremely limited and every encounter could be your last. It really reminds me of Resident Evil in that you have to walk around a huge castle rescuing people and getting keys to access different areas. The only real weapons you get other than the awesome religious stuff is a heavy sword and a stick, so exploring is risky yet rewarding and attacking is awkward as fuck, you know, like Resident Evil. I mean, you do eventually get weapons like the machine gun and the revolver, but you run out of ammo every time you blink, so attacking the demons with all 2 frames of your animation is usually the only and most viable option you have. But to conclude, stop talking and finally shut up for once in my life, Nosferatu, the Wrath of Malachi is a fuck ugly game with dated controls, cringy voice acting and a stolen story. But I loved every second of it.